Hi there. Welcome to Apple World. So supposedly, Cassie has surrendered proof to the federal authorities. Yes, to the federal authorities, she has turned over tapes, a USB drive, and Kim Porter's burner telephone. I'm informed that after Cassie had a meaningful discussion, I clearly needed to safeguard this individual. They're going through a ton at the present time, and her legal counselors persuaded her to give up the tapes and sound accounts that contain footage of parties and other benefits. Get-togethers that highlight a few pretty strong and conspicuous individuals. And get this, she even surrendered a Veronan and USBs that have a place with Kim Watchman, implicating proof against Diddy. Okay, you also Diddy could have to begin getting his home all together in light of the fact that the roads are saying that the FBI is after him, and he's going to get a one-way pass to prison, and it's all because of Cassie as indicated by the reports. A few new charges against him are purportedly more terrible than we might at any point think. And they'll have the option to pay right out of these, like the common claims, assuming you folks felt that the circumstance was terrible before UI. You all better prepare, cause things are going to raise a ruckus around town. See, I know something that many individuals don't realize. I realize that you and Kim Porter had a plunk down just before she left us, and I realize Kim had some generally excellent guidance to give you, and I accept that. For this reason, things are occurring as they're going on now. Kim was shrewd, wasn't she? Cassie guarded you alive and kept you all. I swear things are going from terrible to more awful for Diddy and E. Timely feel that things couldn't deteriorate for him. The universe does things go into overdrives and the case get much harder and things deteriorate. Diddy hasn't had an entire 7-day stretch of peace since Cassie's claim came out, cause it's been going starting with one show, then on to the next, and something simply continues to come up each day that this makes him look ridiculously terrible. And Cassie's claim she guaranteed that Diddy had purportedly placed hands on her, constrained her to utilize tranquilizers and pimped her out to mellow companies for his own happiness, and a completely separate rundown of things that he did to her. The claim got going by uncovering that he has a Miss Venter in her own home after she attempted to leave him frequently punched, kicked, and baffled on Miss Venter, bringing about burst lips, bruised eyes, and forced Miss Venter to draw in a close demonstrations with Miss W's while getting off on it and shooting. The experiences requested that Miss Venter to convey his gun in her satchel just to make her self-conscious and show how hazardous he is, and present Miss Venter to a way of life of extreme liquor and substance, and expected her to obtain illegal remedies to fulfill his own addictions. She likewise gave a few occurrences of times he put hands on her, like the time she and Diddy went to a club, and Cassie began a discussion with the music supervisor in the club, and it wasn't as if she were attempting to sign with this other man. However, Diddy lashed out that when they left the club, Mr. Miss Venter drove her into a side of the vehicle, puzzling all over. When the vehicle showed up at Mr. Combs' home, Miss Venter endeavored to take off, yet Mr. Combs followed her and continued to again kick her in the face. His voice was plentiful, and he was guided into Mr. Combs' home, where she started to hurl from the occurrence. These beatings frequently left her with injuries, and he was so frantic to conceal this that he did all he could to conceal it. The court records said that over the course of the following 10 years, on different occasions, Mr. Combs would brutally beat Miss Venter, leaving wounds on her body after each occurrence in which he beat Miss Venter. Mr. Combs utilized this cash and ability to organize broad endeavors to conceal the proof of his maltreatment, incorporating by concealing Miss in lodgings for a really long time at a time to let her injuries mend. Goodness. And we should not actually get into the reports of how he supposedly used to saw and pimp her out in the claim. Cassie recorded the initial time Mr. Combs employed a man and got the man to his home in Los Angeles. The man, Mr. Combs, and Miss Venter wore disguise veils and ingested drugs. Mr. Combs coordinated for Miss Venter to perform close demonstrations with this man, while Mr. Combs watched them through the whole experience. At numerous times, Mr. Combs started to call the game plan an oddity, or for now, separated from the things that he did to her. She likewise discussed how he attempted to take out his adversaries, like the time he got his kin to pull up on Suge Knight at the point when he heard that Suge was in the area, the record said. For instance, on one occasion, when Mr. Combs and Miss Venter were utilizing together in his home, one of his safety crew members jumped in and declared that Shkna, a long-term opponent of Mr. Combs, was spotted at Mel's Drive and Burger Joint in Los Angeles. Mr. Combs started to get dressed, recovered numerous weapons from a safe, and ran out of his home to where he accepted that Mr. Knight was feasting right away. Did he deny these charges, recounting the typical story of how Cassie was after cash and all of that? His legal counselor made an announcement saying he passionately denies these hostile and crazy claims. Miss Venter's interest of $30 million in the danger of composing a harmful book about her relationship was unequivocally dismissed as an unmitigated shakedown in spite of pulling out her underlying danger. Miss Venter has now turned to recording a claim loaded with unmerited and over-the-top falsehoods, expecting to discolor Mr. Cum's standing, and looking for a payday. Well, he wound up miserable in that claim with Cassie in under a day, and he presumably believed that it planned to kill the case and that we'd all continue on following several days. However, the web was like psych, and he wound up playing himself much more since individuals began to approach to uncover Diddy for saying them 2-3 at a. Final individuals emerged to follow claims against him, making 4 altogether, and afterward, something fascinating. Pretty much every one of the 4 ladies was that they all had an equivalent story of how Diddy purportedly either got them plastered or high on drugs than he supposedly say them yet. That is not all, since Diddy's long-lasting Operation Night likewise emerged to concede that not only were their charges against him presumably obvious, yet Diddy additionally had placed hands on significantly more individuals like his colleague at the time. Capricorn, as indicated by Suge Knight. Capricorn had figured out that Cassie had begun dating rapper Kid Cudi after she parted ways with Diddy. Capricorn didn't confess Cassie's mystery since she understood what Diddy would do to Cassie. She was attempting to safeguard her dislike. At the same time, he beat his mother. What's a young lady named Cassie or anything that he had a partner by the name of Capricorn? Not that at this point in the event that you're asking why Capricorn will cover for Cassie and chance her own well-being. This is on the grounds that Capricorn is Lauren London's sister. Lauren and Cassie used to be companions some time ago, and I surmise Capricorn was simply attempting to pay special attention to her sister's companion. Yet it blew a hot shot right in front of her now. Sue was not covering since after Cassie recorded her claim, Capricorn concealed Diddy saying, "Don't follow the way of the mischievous, don't follow the people who are abhorrent. Avoid the way, don't go close to it, pivot and go another way." Precepts 4:14 entryways be opened. You move to leave the cash full stop. 2011 was damnation. She uncovered the business for empowering Diddy's horrible way of behaving and concealing for him while watching him hurt ladies and individuals around him. She said, "People of color turned out to be the penance for the most recent 11 years of my life. I needed to manage everybody's strange devotion to Satan. I substitute that it closes. I don't think profoundly of any of you who can't hold your head down and imagine is cool. No more improve." Well, she then implied that he had taken out Kim Porter in light of the fact that Kim was against his lifestyle. She shared a statement that Kim had told her colloquialism, "They will skin you and wear you child, young lady." At that point, imagine they never needed the skin. Kim was the main individual who didn't change during the only dull times. I'm actually extremely set off, and I ask when it's over. I never merited this. Kim Watchman is now Capricorn left a terrible kid after that. However, he had barely any familiarity with the beating as of recently. At the time, he guaranteed that she had been terminated on the grounds that she took from him, and this essentially obliterated her whole vocation since no one recruited her as a partner. After that, could you at any point even envision what it's like to be beat up by your chief and then have him destroy your profession? After that, purportedly, Sue likewise uncovered the internal scope records for taking care of Capricorn so Di wouldn't go to prison. It was an Oscope individual the ENC really looked at that paid her to settle before he wouldn't go to prison. Brilliant rule, you all. The allegations continued onward from awful to increasingly worse. And did he at long last emerge to deny these claims, advising individuals to quit coming for him since he was blameless? He broke his quiet and put out an announcement that said, "That's it for the most recent few weeks. I have sat quietly and watched individuals attempt to kill my personality, obliterate my standing and my heritage. Nauseating charges have been made against me by people searching for a fast paid. Let me be totally clear. I didn't do any of the terrible things being affirmed. I will battle for my name, my family, and for reality." However, again, this main compounded the situation since it had more individuals coming for himself, and this time those individuals are purportedly the FBI. Several days prior, a visually impaired thing came out that guaranteed that the FBI had supposedly opened up an examination concerning Diddy, and everything was thanks to Cassie since she gave over some implicating proof on Diddy to the FBI. However, all this was exceptionally intriguing on the grounds that after Cassie dropped her claim, Bomb Panther ventured into the ring with a fascinating assertion as indicated by her. Cassie had a mystery meeting with Kim Porter. Just subscribe Apple World for more videos.